I'm Scott Munn, along with Tug Coward in the Warrior Alliance Network studios in Atlanta, Georgia. Success after military service is something that's always achievable, especially when you have inspiration from veterans like the man who joins us today. Xavier Cugnon is a Belgian immigrant who entered the Marines 4 days after his 19th birthday and became an aviation ground support equipment electrician before rising to the rank of sergeant in the Persian Gulf during Operation Iraqi Freedom. He's now the Vice President of Human Resources at Lookout Pest Control, and with over 15 years of progressive HR leadership, Xavier blends his business acumen with a people-first philosophy that's helped forge a best-in-class HR team throughout his career. Xavier, thank you for what you've done for our country, and we appreciate you joining us in the studio today. Welcome to the Warrior Alliance Network.
Gentlemen, thank you for the invitation, and I would answer back, thank you for what this country has done for me.
Amen to that. I love that. I love that thought process. I love what America stands for and what it means to so many people. People that are born and raised here, like myself, and then folks who've come here and recognize, just the fact that the United States is such an anomaly. It's not supposed to happen like this. It wasn't supposed to. It's always dictators and monarchies and all of those things. And the United States pops up, and it's something that the world's never seen before.
I feel like immigrants sometimes know that better than
absolutely.
anybody.
That's right. Oh, yeah.
Without a doubt.
I'll never take it for granted.
That's such an endearing thing for you to say for everybody listening right now, I have a feeling. You joined the military right around 9/11. Talk about being a young Marine, Persian Gulf. How did that set you up to find your way in the world?
Yeah, so, interestingly, and I'll be candid, I joined the Marine Corps for the opportunity at education.
Sure.
It was kind of a lull in conflict. The world was at peace, so I thought, what are the odds? Let's go at it, right? Thinking that I would have a pro bono education and some worldly experiences.
A lot of people join it for that reason.
Yeah. I didn't imagine that I would actually enter into a wartime conflict. So, when you're, 21 years old, and all of a sudden you realize that you're playing a grown-up game, and you're not quite sure that you've achieved the grown-up status yet, it can be very sobering. I'll tell you what was awe-inspiring to me is that, it's not the old men of this country who fight their wars. It really is the young bucks.
Of course.
And the capabilities of the individuals that I was in tandem with was awe-inspiring. I mean, I don't know that there's a private company today that can operate as effectively as a bunch of 18, 19-year-olds fighting for Uncle Sam.
With the greatest technology that exists in the world and using it, to your point, effectively. Things that the civilian world probably hasn't even fathomed yet. And they're already using it, and we're turning it over to, of course, young men, young women. But that was, I think that, because I was obviously a young sailor, and thinking about the billion-dollar equipment that was handed over to me.
Right.
And
put in your custody, no questions, right?
Because they believe in you, and the country believes in you, and the people that are home while you're away believe in you. It's an extraordinary thing, Scott.
And we believe that you are going to honor that oath to the Constitution.
Right.
And you took that oath, and you're still honoring it in your service today.
And I would add, the equipment is impressive, but the training is even more so.
Yeah.
The amount that they invest in the training, I think that's the exception.
Yeah, the best in the world.
Yeah.
What prepared you? Like, what did you do in the Marine Corps that you feel like prepared you for what you're doing today?
Yeah, so what I realized is when you grow in rank, obviously you have the daunting responsibility for your direct reports. What I recognize is there's a lot of the skill set you build in the Marine Corps trying to move and persuade your unit and lead your unit that translates into the civilian world. HR is such a bizarre leap for a Marine, but is it?
Right.
I'm trying to talk a bunch of 18-year-olds to, humble themselves to fight in one direction for the right reason and the right way with their life at stake.
No pressure.
Right?
Yeah.
But that translates well into, a human resource practice. It's the same thing. It's the game of persuasion.
Wow. That's so true. You're really trying to set young people up for success, and then...
And set the example while doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and that's the well-kept secret is when you grow in rank, you throw it behind the bushes because you can't do it in front of your troops, right?
We're going to get into all that you're doing now with Lookout in a few minutes, but first let's talk a little bit more about your military career. Tug, on his second enlistment, Xavier became an instructor for his Marine unit where he served as a base color sergeant, earning the NCO and Instructor of the Year for his command. And Xavier also found time to get his undergrad degree and later a master's in human resources, right, from Villanova.
Yeah.
That's impressive work ethic. How did you manage to both excel in your military career while also completing your college education?
Yeah, so I had great advice from my recruiter. And the truth is, and maybe you can relate to this, when you join the military, what you discover is that 50% of the people there are bucking the system, right? They regret the discipline, the amount of discipline that it takes to be successful. The other half, take it for everything it's worth. My recruiter said, take it for everything it's worth. You are who you surround yourself with.
Wise man.
Yeah, and I saw that, and hey, want to go to college? It's free. How do you say no to free college? Mm-hmm. So I made it my discipline that I would, report into my unit, work day, and nights, and deploy when I needed to. But every opportunity I had, I went back for that free education. And I watched my buddies go to drink a beer. I wasn't drinking that beer. I stuck to my studies.
Discipline is not a bad word. I know for many years, and I think maybe we're getting away from it now, but for a long time, discipline was considered a bad word. I mean, whether it was in the civilian world, disciplining your children, everything was a consequence when it came to discipline. Discipline's exactly opposite of that, really.
And I'm so glad that you mentioned that because when you think about it, discipline is the differentiator between success and being lost in the sea of normalcy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Your military career, but maybe some would hear it and say that's not a path to human resources. What got you into handling employment and workforce strategy? Did you discover in the military you had a passion for that, or you just realized you're good at it and it made sense?
So my second tour as an instructor, and again, a little tip of the hat to the training that you're given that no one talks about when you transition into the civilian sector. I went through a intense month-long residential instructor training course where you learn how to build, develop, and deliver content, material, and curriculum. After that, I had the gift of, or the luxury, the privilege of teaching my military occupational specialty. So after 4 years of doing that, I got into the knack of it. When I interviewed in the civilian sector, it was for a position that translated to my mechanical aptitude and skills, but then they learned about my training aptitude and said, hey, wait a minute, we have a training role. How'd you like to do that? And that was my seed into the world of human resources.
Wow. I mean, that's so interesting because so many people, Scott, oftentimes have trouble making the military training and education communicate effectively to the people in the civilian world saying, hey, this is what I did in the military and this is how it could work in your private business. Those don't always communicate well. It's almost like two different languages.
I don't know that they ever do. If I go through my laundry list of interviews throughout my civilian history, no one's ever stopped me to ask me anything about my military career.
Interesting.
Right? It's a checkbox on my resume, and they feel like, okay, I've categorized you as a veteran. Let's look at your education. And there's such a story in that one line that says veteran or Marine Corps.
Yeah, it lets them know that you're somebody who's reliable, on point, but then they got to see what your education is, and they got to see how your vibe is too. And you got a great one, and you found your way into the pest control industry, which I hate to make a joke, but it's sort of like the military is in the pest control industry, if you think about it, on a bigger scale, on a much bigger scale, right?
Very clever.
But tell us about your company, Lookout Pest Control. I love that it's local, and you were telling us before the show that it's named after Lookout Mountain up there where Tug comes from.
Yeah,
right?
That's true. That's true. So Lookout Pest Control, we have about 350 employees. We certainly have a growth mindset. The pest control industry is a incredible industry. It's a very relationship-based industry. So I always liken the pest control industry to the modern-day milkman. It's all about the relationship and rapport that you develop with your customers. I love the privilege of being with Lookout Pest Control and being the champion of that culture. So my role there is to make sure that we deliver to the customer the culture that we intend on building internally. We service the Chattanooga area. We go all the way through Memphis, Tennessee, and we have a presence here in Atlanta as well, in Alpharetta, Marietta, all the way out to Athens.
Yeah, that's a big footprint there.
Yeah.
What if there's other folks that are listening now, veterans, that are like, man, I feel like I could fall in line with that
Sure.
guy. The things that he talks about make sense to me as a person, as a veteran, but then as a person that's looking for employment or opportunities. What are some career opportunities at Lookout, and what military skills help veterans become successful there?
Yeah, so a pest control tech, we're always looking for leadership. We're looking for pest control techs. Pest control tech is a unique opportunity. You're really running your own business. So you have a book of business, assigned customers, and with your customers, you're establishing the rapport, you're delivering on the services, a ton of autonomy. I think what translates super well from the military perspective is integrity. Again, the market differentiator from one pest control company to the other is the integrity with which you deliver the service. Pest control technicians are going to the most private places of a residential home. You don't invite your friends into your plus one's closet to look for bugs, but your pest control tech will spend some time there.
And wouldn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, exactly.
And both. When you think about it, you wouldn't think twice about inviting them there because you know that needs to be done, and they don't think twice about going.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's interesting. I've never thought about that.
But I think you do think twice about who to hire, and I think hiring a local company is a great idea because you know there's going to be folks that are from around here who have families themselves and are just working for a living, And I love that you hire a lot of veterans, and now, Tug, Xavier is on the board, or you're actually the board chair of something that I'm just learning about. I think I got this right. Is it SHRM Atlanta?
SHRM Atlanta, Society for Human Resource Management.
I didn't want to get that wrong. Okay, and you recently also won the Warrior Alliance Veteran Impact Award, so people are noticing. You won in the company employee category. Congratulations on both those high honors. That's amazing stuff. I guess tell us about, I'm going to go ahead and skip to the point. Tell us about SHRM and what are your responsibilities of being, the chairman of SHRM Atlanta?
So as a board chair of SHRM Atlanta, it's my responsibility to govern the board and make sure that the members of the board are representing the intent of our mission. Our mission there is to create a world-class HR cohort. We really want to provide a resource for HR practitioners in the Atlanta community so that they can in turn go and transform their organizations. Mm-hmm. When you look at the stakeholder concept, which means, when you do business, you want to make sure that you have an avenue to every one of your stakeholders. And the stakeholder is anyone who's impacted by your company or organization existing. As an HR practitioner, one of my stakeholder groups is human resources. I want to make sure that I move my profession forward. I want to make sure that I create an environment with other HR professionals where we can move organizations forward.
Talk about being named the Veteran Impact Award recipient. What does that mean to you personally?
Yeah, how about that? I think it's exceptionally humbling. And what I've shared is that the product of what we've been able to deliver is the aggregation of just thousands and thousands of people and communities coming together, providing pro bono time, providing, very grassroots initiatives. So being the recipient it's humbling because I don't have 1,000 people behind me who helped contribute to these successes. What I recognize is I'm the idiot with the dumb ideas, right? And there's a
turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, there's a sea of people behind me who are like, yeah, that sounds cool. Let's go do that. It also allowed me to discover, and I don't think it's a well-kept secret, but the veteran community impacts just about everyone in the community. If you're not a veteran, you can name one in your family. You can name one in your neighborhood. So, as a pest control company, as an HR practitioner, when we lead initiatives that focus on veterans, we know that we're impacting the communities that we serve. And that's kind of the benchmark of, killing bugs is cool, But what if we got to kill bugs and impact the community at the same time?
That's right. You're accomplishing all kinds of goals, Scott.
There you go.
You really are. And I know you also have a goal as a veteran, just making your community better, right? And how would you encourage other veterans listening to get involved and to help make their communities or their families or their neighborhoods better?
Yeah, so find your community is what I'll say. It takes initiative, and that word we talked about, discipline, right? Mm-hmm. So when you find yourself doomsday scrolling or sitting, watching Netflix, think about how you could be using your time. When you grow your network, all of a sudden you become acquainted with people who are powerful in what they've accomplished, powerful in their own virtues, powerful in how they can serve you and teach you, right? So I do it benevolently, but I get such selfish results. So what I would suggest is if you want to build a brand for yourself, if you want to be a better you, tap into your veteran community. Meet the people around you. It can't do you any harm.
No, yeah. What's the drawback?
There you go.
There is none. And I love what you say that you do it benevolently, but the results blow up, and you can't help that they're so positive for you. So many people are eager to do that, but are afraid to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. It's like, I don't know if you ever had this happen at church. It happens to us every Sunday. Turn around and say hello to the person next to you if you don't know them. And everybody's so reluctant, me included, and I do this for a living. And my wife, as soon as they say it, she's gone. No, she's not talking to a soul. It's just she's so reserved and so shy until you know her. I don't know what it is about just sticking out your hand and saying hello to somebody that becomes so complicated for people, but it can be so beneficial.
And I think social media has made it worse, hasn't it?
I do too.
It's like you could say reach out to your community, and I bet half the people listening are thinking, I'm going to join a veteran group on Facebook
on LinkedIn,
or something, right?
Yeah.
So how do you suggest they find people face-to-face in the community?
There's a ton of veteran service organizations that come together and aggregate, especially in Atlanta. So, my advice to you is, pick up your phone and go Google veteran service organizations in Atlanta. You're going to find one, and you're going to figure out when they meet. And if you, are tech shy or not tech savvy,
not tech savvy, yeah.
Go to the Legion. Go to the Legion.
Oh my gosh.
Go to the VFW.
Love the American Legion.
Walk through the front door. Get a cheap beer.
Yeah.
And have a conversation with someone. Someone's going to point you in the right direction.
You can buy a round for like $5.
Yeah, that's
for the
true.
entire bar.
You're
if
not
you wanted
lying.
to. Yeah, that's the funny thing about going to the American Legion, because I'm a member of the Alpharetta Legion. They're off Wills Park. What a great group of people from all walks of life that can't wait to meet you.
Yeah.
They can't wait to interact with you. And let me tell you, you're talking about a network of people that are willing to introduce you to anybody they know. These guys and gals are so eager to interact with other veterans. It's like nothing I've ever seen before. The American Legion is the coolest place ever.
And here's what's cool, too. If you're a veteran, you've been vetted, right? It's not like you have to show up somewhere with a bunch of people you don't know. You already have that common thread.
Yeah, it's also interesting coming from the dependent or the veteran family perspective is that I can also go there and relate to the people there.
100%,
so if you're like an Army brat or something like that,
plenty
you can
of
go
Army
and
brats in
they'll
there.
welcome you with open arms. They want to hear about your experience, and you can be a part of it all
That's
there
right.
too.
And there's an auxiliary for non-veterans as well.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. You can get involved in the poker tournament or
That's
something.
right. Absolutely. Square dancing, line dancing. They do it all.
All the good stuff. And don't forget the Warrior Alliance, of course, which is kind of like Scott Johnson's vision of networking all these community organizations that support veterans and making sure that everybody's working together on the same page, and that veterans can contact them at thewarrioralliance.org and just sort of like sign up, and they'll help you figure out what organizations might be the best fit for you. And you encourage your employees to do that, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I know which one of my team members is a veteran. And when I come across a need, I know exactly which resource to direct them in, and I know that the Warrior Alliance is at the top of my Rolodex.
Those people at the office are veterans, dependents that are listening now. How would you tell them, how would you advise them to find a career that fits their interest or their passion?
Wow, that's a 3-hour question,
No kidding.
but I'll spare you.
Give me the thumbnail.
Here's what I would suggest. You go through your whole adolescence and you're given the trophy options, right? The doctor, actor, archaeologist, teacher, whatever it is.
Yeah.
No one talks about the industries you've never heard of. That's where 90% of America works.
Those trade skills.
So what I would suggest is listen, kids, pest control isn't sexy, right? I'm in one of the sexiest industries. I really am, because of the quality of the people and because of the intent of the service. So what I would suggest is explore every industry. Look under rocks and consider any option, because there's a lot of people pursuing their passions, fulfilling their passions in industries that you're not aware of.
And there will always be a need for pest control.
Yeah.
Another, like if you go through the trades, plumbers and pipe fitters and just trade industries that will always have opportunity.
Yeah. It's a growing business, by the way.
For sure it is.
It's pest control, not pest elimination. You're never going to get rid of them.
That's right, yeah. They're going to be here when we ain't.
Yeah, right. But you know what? But what about off time? Do you get any? Do you ever get a chance to get away from work? I know you're on this board.
Right.
You're working with veterans organizations. You're obviously the head of HR at this huge company that you're trying to help grow. But what about your family? You want to tell us about them?
Yeah, that's great. Sometimes I scratch my head too and wonder where I find the free time. The cool news is I married up, so I have an incredible wife that allows me to have that healthy balance and really grounds me. We're adventure travelers, so we love to go anywhere, and I can't really categorize what I do for fun because there's not much I've said no to.
Okay.
Right? We're very eclectic. Traveling, camping, is probably at the forefront of what we do in our free time. I also have a tremendous daughter, 19 years old now, which is the only reason I go to the gym, just to put the fear of God in anyone that might knock on my door to pick her up.
That's right. Absolutely. No, I understand completely, man. I have a son that's about that age, and, you are hopeful, especially as, the father of a young man that I've given him that guidance that when he meets a girl like your daughter, that he treats her the way that I would expect him to treat his own mama.
Absolutely.
And that I don't know that gets discussed enough, how to interact with each other. But again, back to Scott's point about social media, people are so into their phones, they forget how to communicate. They forget how to hold a door for someone or say thank you or please or those things. Clarence Thomas, the Supreme Court Justice, said your manners will get you in places that your education can't.
Isn't that true?
And it is so it's so smart, it's so genius, and I've been telling my son that since the day he was born because I think it's so
it's
important.
up to fathers to spread that news, to teach them, and you've taught your daughter well, and she's, I hear, going to school over at the University of Alabama. So you support that?
I do support that, yeah.
Because Tug and I are Georgia guys.
That's right.
No, I understand. They have my allegiance as long as they have my money.
Yeah, that's exactly. I've heard that happens a lot.
Yes.
Dude, were you an Alabama fan before she went there?
No.
Did you keep up with college football at all before that?
Nah, listen, I'm a foreign-born, so
that's right.
as was football to me.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And if people are going to be interested in your story, and I know it's a long one, but tell us about being foreign-born, and tell us about your family history. You were telling me your parents.
I'll tell you some incredible, the gift, and I'll make it brief. I have the privilege of being the first naturalized citizen in my family. My family lineage goes back 900 years.
Wow.
900 years. I grew up 50 miles from the origin of my village in Belgium. So in 900 years, we went 50 miles left. All of a sudden, we had jumped on an aircraft, arrived in the beloved United States. When I came back for the second time to the U.S., green card holder, joined the Marine Corps. After 1 year of service, became a naturalized citizen. Now check this out. You know who swore me in?
I know it's going to knock my socks off.
This is incredible. And it was a huge surprise to me. I got special temporary orders, and I didn't know what they were for. I reported to NAS JAX.
That's where I cycled out.
Oh, really? Okay.
I left the Navy at NAS.
Excuse me. I think it was Mayport. I went to Mayport.
That's where I was stationed. My ship was there.
I went to Mayport, and I was on board the USS John F. Kennedy.
As was I.
And I was sworn in by Ted Kennedy.
No way!
Yeah, how about that?
How about that? That's fascinating.
And then I just remember the ceremony. I think there was a sea of sailors and two Marines, and we're in line shaking hands. One of the senator's wives kind of leans into me and says, out of everybody here, you stood out the most. I had such a Clint Eastwood response. I said, ma'am, I'm a Marine. That's what we do.
I love it. That's the greatest story. Thank you for sharing that.
Absolutely.
It's so encouraging. Your story is so encouraging to me, and I think so many people listening right now. Xavier, thank you for everything you do. First of all, thank you for loving the country the way that we love the country, and the folks listening love the country, and the Warrior Alliance loves the country. Thank you for what you do as a veteran, as a person that cares about your community and raises a beautiful family in this community. Continued success.
Thank you so much. You gentlemen are tremendous, and thank you for the privilege.
Have a great day, buddy.
Take care.